What's going on there, Reject Nation? We got yet again another clip for The Batman. And guess what? We do have an early screening upcoming, so this might be the last clip. We're watching like a few of these back to back, and we're just spreading out the uploads. But we haven't seen the movie yet, so, subscribe and click that notification bell to get notified when our review for the movie is up. We should have an early one up for you guys next week, I think, when embargo lifts. Yeah, we're trying to watch whatever clips have been released to the public first to give a reaction to you guys, obviously, before we watch the movie, because then we can't react to it because there's no point. But anyway, all right, guys, let's get into it. Leave a like if you can. Let's do this.
Some event, huh? Brought out the one guy in the city more reclusive than me.
Thought you'd never leave the shoreline. Aren't you afraid someone will take a shot at you?
Why? Because your father ain't around. Oz, you know Bruce Wayne?
Wow, is that right?
His father saved my life. I got shot in the chest. Right here. I couldn't go to no hospital, so we showed up on his doorstep. Operated right on the dining room table.
Oh, shit.
You saw the whole thing. Up on the stairs looking down.
That's straight out of Long Halloween.
I remember your face. You don't think that meant something he did then?
It means you took the Hippocratic Oath.
Hippocratic Oath.
Huh.
That's good.
Oh, man. I wasn't expecting them to pull directly from the Long Halloween. You see, there's a flashback of that. Matter of fact, a big part of Batman's guilt, if I'm not mistaken, last time I reread that comic was before the second trailer came out. If I'm not mistaken, that's part of what weighs on Bruce, and it seems to be applied here. Is like, man, if my dad did not save Carmine Falcone, maybe a lot of this could have been prevented. Oh. So this does factor in a lot, that Wayne legacy that we keep hearing about in the trailers.
How deep does that protection go, and how maybe dastardly or insidious was it on the Wayne side?
That's really neat to actually see this applied there. That storyline is stripped straight from there. That gives like what a smart way to make sure to include that, because that automatically keeps it personal between Bruce Wayne and Carmine Falcone as well. And I'm liking the interpretation that John Turturro's doing. I've never really quite imagined it to be this more subtle. I've always imagined it to be like really like Italian gangster cliche.
Don't come down here with your anger.
Is that what I always imagine for Carmine Falcone?
Instead of this like laid back, really sort of almost bemused kind of guy who's like clearly on top of the world, unconcerned with anything, doesn't even need to bring that level of bravado out.
Yeah, but then to see that it's taking place at this point in the storyline, whereas like in Long Halloween, Penguin was Penguin by that point. He wasn't working directly for Carmine Falcone. It seems like in that moment, Penguin is, or Oswald at this point, I don't know if he's called Penguin yet, maybe that's just some type of derogatory nickname
Become Penguin by the end.
Before he becomes Penguin. So just to see Penguin talking there actually was like, damn, that looks so real.
I know,
Every time
right?
I see it, I'm like, damn, that looks real.
It's like
Damn,
a whole
that looks real.
other guy.
But given that personal history between them, it seems like that the start of this movie, a big part of the guilt that would weigh into Bruce Wayne's motivation for what he's doing would link heavily to Carmine Falcone, because part of it watching these clips and trailers and knowing this major ensemble of not only protagonists but antagonists has been trying to piece together how this could all smoothly intersect. But it seems like the jumping off point would be with Carmine, which would automatically, and I feel like this is somewhat referenced in with the Falcone family in some way. I could be wrong about this in the comic. By association, Thomas Wayne is like kind of protected for saving his life.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's gonna buy you a lifetime's worth of good graces in the mob.
I looked it up. I think I'm wrong about that.
And I mean, too, Matt Reeves has been out there talking about how he's working on a Penguin show for HBO, and this being a Batman Year 2 story, and Year 1 having so much to do with the mob. I mean, it seems like a nice transition going from, obviously he has that to deal with still with Carmine, but then you're getting the rise, it seems, of the more super villainous type of characters in Gotham through this movie is sort of what I've come to imagine now. And maybe, by the end, Penguin will arc, or Oswald will arc into actually being the Penguin and getting us into a more rogues gallery type of territory. I feel like, I don't know, I just get the sense that this movie is going to start with the mob and then slowly mount into something crazier. John Turturro isn't exactly the actor I would have picked out of a lineup or off the top of my head, but I love just this glimpse that we're getting of him and this like the calm, menacing energy that he's able to bring, and watching him and Robert Pattinson square off, because Robert Pattinson's also going for a certain level of calm menace. Yeah, I just can't wait to see what sparks fly there. Like, their chemistry is so tense here, but also so engrossing, you know?
Well, my favorite thing about watching actors work together is seeing the kind of relationships they form. And I think what's cool about the variety of clips that we've gotten is you see different dynamics that come into play. It's like when you see Bruce with Alfred in that one clip that was released on Good Morning America, you see Bruce as more of this like boyish side of him, where he seems kind of like an angsty teenager who's like, get out of my room, you know, like that kind of guy. Here, you still have more of that sort of with Bruce Wayne here, where he just doesn't want to be Bruce, and he's going out there and he's got that like angsty resistance, as you know, John Turturro calls it. You know, it's like he's as much of a recluse as he is. I like seeing that, you know, when you see Bruce Wayne interact with these people versus when you see these Batman clips, you can see the difference in personality. Like, already I can tell how people can't determine that Bruce Wayne is Batman, because one person behaves very different than the other. Like, this Bruce Wayne just seems like he just doesn't want to be around. He doesn't like people. He's a little bit moody, which is, you know, qualities of Batman. But at the same time, like, he doesn't seem like he's about to pick a fight. If anything here, as much as he's kind of like standing up to him and taking some little hits at him, you know, talking about the Hippocratic Oath, being like, surprised he didn't stay on the shoreline, these little jabs here or there, it still feels like John Turturro, Carmine Falcone, is maintaining the power in this dynamic between them, and that whenever Bruce sees him, there is a memory of the time he saw Thomas Wayne save his life. And that's my favorite part about watching actors work together, is seeing that history and watching the way the performances shift depending on what the relationship is, because that's what life is. You behave differently depending on who you're around, whether that be conscious or subconscious, usually subconscious. And I think that's what Robert Pattinson has been really demonstrating through all these variety of clips. Like, we all want to see him be like a badass Batman, but it seems like this great range of performance is coming in when he's Bruce Wayne and who he's interacting with in any particular moment, you know?
Yeah, well, and the Bruce Wayne moments bring a subtle element of that detective quality to them without it being, you know, like so overt. You get the sense that, yeah, this is like somewhat of an uncomfortable exchange. He's playing it low key, but also searching for the crucial pieces of information or crucial entanglements and things like that. And it does get me excited for the prospect that maybe this Batman movie will have the most engaged iteration of the dark detective, as well as, you know, the action and all that stuff and all the gadgetry, you know, and just the general angst that comes with the conflict between Batman and his various rogues, whether they be mob or otherwise, you know?
I can't wait to see this movie, man. Can't wait to see it. I can't believe it's actually coming. So we're all gonna be watching Batman soon. Guys, leave your thoughts down below. Subscribe, click the notification bell, leave that like button. We'll catch you guys soon.